Hi, my name's Jay, and I'm here to let you know about the Singer LK100 knitting machine. This was a gift from my great-grandma, Dolores, from Los Angeles. She had collected this for quite some time, and I acquired it in December. So I've been playing with it for a while, and I think I got the hang of it. So I just want to let you guys know how to set it up. So first off, you need to make sure that you have all of your tools. The very important tool I would say are these claws. They have teeth on the end, and what they do is they hold the knitted piece down to prevent the looseness of the needles from raising, which will get your carriage caught in your knitting machine, which really sucks sometimes when you have a big piece. There are also these smaller claws, and if you're doing smaller pieces, that works too, or if you want to put these on the end of your piece, that works as well. You also, if you need, this kind of comb works really well, and on my Singer machine, it goes through every other needle. So when you're doing your initial row, you're gonna use every other needle and then attach this, which is every other needle as well, to hold your scrap yarn. You also want to make sure that you have your, I don't know what they're called actually. It says in the book, but they basically have hooks, and you can attach yarns if you mess up and you drop a stitch, and it'll help you bring it back. It also came with a little latch kind of yarn, so you can do that as well. And this is also good if you're trying to do some, if you're trying to purl, so you can drop stitches and actually purl or knit. And a counter. The counter saves lives. It's specifically for this machine. I'm not sure about other models that have this machine, but it works pretty well, and your needle bed has numbers on them already, so you'll be able to tell what your width is and what your rows are going to be like, and you can do a lot of test measurements and stuff, so you can kind of get a good idea of how big you want something to be and make your own calculations and make your own garments in the future. So let's get started. Okay, so what we have is our bed ready, and what I want to do is pull down the number of stitches that I want to do for my final piece. So I'm just going to say 20, and it'll say 10 right here and 20 right here. And you'll see that row. And what I want to do is bring my carriage over. It's on position B, and that means it's in a knit position, and the ends right here will say B. And so I bring that down, and I'm gonna go across with the carriage, and what that does is opens up most of the needles. Even if they don't open, I've seen this machine work, and the needles will open anyways when you bring it with the yarn. And every other needle, I'm pushing back with the bottom part of its teeth. And I set my counter. So I have this end yarn right here, and on the other side is my ball of yarn. And you'll see this little area right here. It looks complicated, but don't worry. So what you're going to do is with the end right here in my finger, you're going to pull it on the back side. So you see how it just kind of hangs right here? And then you're going to see this little piece right here. So see this little mechanism going on? This is going to help with the tension, so you have a little bit of resistance when you're knitting. And on this part, you're going to see this little hook, and you want to wrap this through the hook as well. So you see this, there's just a series of things that are preventing your yarn being too loose when you're knitting. And then what you're going to do is, with your end piece, you're going to pull it through this final part right here. So it's like this. And you're going to hold down this bottom part of your yarn. One thing I'd like to point out is this dial right here has different settings for different yarn thicknesses. I tend to use the same thickness of a yarn, so I always have it on 5 because I don't like my yarn to be that tight sometimes. So that's what I have. So mine's at 5, and it's usually for a row of 20 inches. It's usually like four needles or 4 stitches for every inch. So you can get a good estimate of what you want to do based on that. So I'm gonna start doing my first row, and this is my scrap yarn. And I want to hold that first piece of yarn really tight. I don't want it to get loose. And so I have this here. Then I'm going to get my row of hooks. And you want the sharp side where the hook comes down, you want it facing your yarn. They go where the yarn needles aren't, like that. So you have that. And this yarn, on the very end, you want to pull it so it's a little bit consistent. And you'll see that there's, on the edges right here, there's a little tie of something to wrap your yarn around. So you just wrap it like that, and it should stay a little bit tight. And what you want to do next is you get the other end, the flat end, and bring the other needles that you didn't knit initially, bring them back into position. So they're all on B. And then you are ready.